Welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave here, checking his mic one last time before he goes into his spiel. Hey, I hope everybody out there is doing fantastic. I'm here along with the producer here today, manning the boards. What's going on over there, Blake? You doing good?
Doing good.
Fantastic. So Ricky is actually on assignment really quickly this morning, so he's actually getting something done. But you got Drive Safe Dave here. You got what you need, and we've got safety here for you right here at BCB Live. Let me go through a couple of things. Number one, we can't fail to mention what happened last night in Arlington at Globe Life Field.
Absolutely.
The judge, why don't we just and this is courtesy of ESPN. I want everybody to be aware. This is actually courtesy of ESPN. What happens next? Let's watch this. So there you have it. Really quickly, it is a story to be told. 61 years after it, from 1961, that Roger Maris hit 61 homers. 61 years later, the judge hit 62.
Yes, sir.
3 days apart from 61 years apart on 61. What an incredible story that is. We actually had some of our staff there as well. We would have played you video from our staff if we hadn't had to fall back on ESPN and them going to their story, right? If one of our own hadn't gone to the bathroom. How do you go? How do you go first bat, first swing? That was the first pitch. Gone. Rocket.
She didn't even realize it was
Yeah, I know. First of all, she didn't even know. She didn't really know
the significance.
Yeah, you know what? We should have prepped her.
We really should. Maybe that's on us.
I blame us.
I blame Sir Rick.
That is exactly who I blame because he handed her the tickets.
Exactly.
So if you hand somebody the tickets and you want them to cover the story, you go into kind of a little. But would I have to tell you to cover that story if I sent you to that game?
No. I mean,
I don't think so.
Don't get me wrong. Okay, I can't stand the Yankees.
And no. This is much bigger than that.
To my Rangers.
Yeah, this is much bigger than that.
But what I hear, it couldn't happen. I mean, he's a class act.
First of all, it's an honor to have it done here at Globe Life Field.
Exactly.
100% honor to have it done here.
Yes.
Fantastic. That'll be in the history books forever.
Yes.
On video that it happened here in our field. And look, I get it, but it is a great story to be told. And what a fantastic day for him and for baseball.
Sure.
So it goes down in the record books. The batting king. What a fantastic. I think 27 it was Ruth, and with 60. And then it was 61, it was Maris. And then in 22, it's Judge.
Right.
Judgment Day. Judgment Day out there.
But everything I hear, he's a stand-up guy, he's a class act guy. So.
Oh yeah. But this is history in the making. I mean, fantastic stuff. A good story. Also, hey, we've been talking a lot all week about the storm, the Ian, and the impact that it had in Florida. Devastating news. Over 100 dead so far. And the effects do linger, and so much is going on. You just can't imagine the incredible devastation and everything that transpired in the area. We've talked about it for several days. How truckloads of material relief. Look at some of these images. And the reason I show this image here is I want you to see some of the damage that was done. Now, there is a story out. So let me preface this because I think this is a pretty incredible story, and this guy's probably going to make millions on this story. This guy knew that Ian was coming, he goes out and he purchases quite a bit of the Flex Seal spray paint. That's Flex Seal, and then the bucket, the seal.
Right.
And he seals up his store all around, inside and out, all over the place. The storm surge comes in, destroys all of the restaurants and building storefronts that are to the left and to the right of it across the street. His is the only one that didn't get any water in it.
No way.
No way.
Now, you told me about this, but I haven't seen the footage.
No. There's a story out running right now on the wire. I just saw it before I came in here.
And you had the footage sent to me.
I don't have any footage. It's just a storyline. This is one of the images from the story.
Oh, okay.
Just to show, to show some of the devastation. And I'm telling you, it's a pretty remarkable story. He didn't know what to do, so he went and bought a bunch of Flex Seal and Flex Sealed his entire storefront and the area around it and around the boards and everything, and no water got in.
Okay, then what did Bryce just send me right here?
What did she send you?
Well, it's labeled Flex Seal Florida Man.
Yeah, so is that this picture?
Well, let's just find out. So you just saw the story and were telling her about the story.
Look at this. It's all Flex Sealed. Look inside.
No way.
Look inside. Look inside the other building. Look in there. All Flex Sealed, all dry.
No way. I mean, like, I saw it and I still don't believe it. That's insane.
That is insane. I got a feeling this dude's going to be on a commercial.
Yeah. It's a pretty safe.
Why weren't they handing that out all over the country? Why wasn't Flex Seal being shipped in by the truckloads?
Why didn't they call BCB Transport and say, send it?
I don't know, but I'll tell you right now, what an incredible story. What actually pretty smart. 100% smart.
Yeah.
No water leaking into the building. Flex Seal. I think it's a pretty interesting story. It was pretty cool that it came out. I just thought, hey, maybe we should have shared a bunch of buckets, right? Maybe we should have gotten a bunch of buckets out there. All right, so actually a good, funny story as it transpires going across the wire. We'll update you if there's any more on this. Actually, I think it's kind of funny. Good stuff can come out of tragedy if you just look for it and find the interesting and the fun stories. All right, everybody. I'll tell you what. We'll take a quick 60-second break, and we'll come back. We're going to talk to Roxanne Brown, a consultant in crisis management over there at Ironwood. We'll be right back in just a second.
You're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. BCB Live covers freight. Here we are now at 21% of record freight being rejected. News
down in Texas. We're going to talk a little bit about this. We had another $1.5 million seizure. If ever there's a time to do a pre or post trip, it's if you're doing something wrong.
weather, traffic.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to some traffic and weather with Buckle Up Bob. You can kind of see where the visibility can be compromised a little bit. Again, right where that rain is.
And most importantly, safety.
One of the things that we must do is make sure that safety is the number one thing that we focus on.
Going into an intersection, yellow is not the way. That's to clear an intersection, not to enter an intersection.
Tune in weekdays from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can watch BCB Live through LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe today and follow BCB Live.
this is Drive Safe Dave here back at BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. And we have for us, we got Roxanne Brown, DOT consultant, crisis management at Ironwood Business Consulting. First of all, Roxanne, I'd like to say thank you for being a follower of our show, and tell us, what are some of the favorite parts of this show, and what would you like to see more of?
Well, thank you for having me. I love watching your guys' show. I mean, obviously, you guys discuss some very important issues, and the conversations are much needed. But my favorite part about the show is the two of you. I absolutely love you guys. I think you're hilarious when you guys banter back and forth. You remind me of an old married couple, and nobody wants to watch a show no matter how good the information is. If it's Charlie Brown, won't, and you guys you really bring the life to it, and I love it.
But yeah, we definitely can never be accused. Rick and I can never be accused of just going back and forth.
Never.
So first of all, tell us what you do, and just realize the segment you're on is Ladies Who Launch. This is to highlight you ladies in the industry and how important and what you're contributing to the industry. So thank you for coming on to this part, Roxanne, and being on Ladies Who Launch. So tell us what you do over there at Ironwood.
I'm a DOT consultant. So I work closely with several different clients. I help them with everything DOT, from, we help with crisis management to set up for new carriers, and really just focus on teaching them and educating them on DOT and compliance, and finding the things that they're missing or not doing, and help them to correct it. So it's a very rewarding job.
So Roxanne, and let's just kind of go into the meat and nuts and bolts of it. And you help, no matter your clients, it can be a 1-truck operation, it can be a 100-truck operation, it can be whatever it is. You basically go in, you go in at ground level, and then start maybe with a assessment of DOT, like audit, like a fake audit.
Yes, we do a mock audit is typically where we start, just so we can kind of see the overall health and identify the areas that we really need to focus on. And then we go in from there. So yes, any size, it's really, we have a lot of smaller companies that can't really afford to have a full-time DOT person on staff. So that's where we come in and we help with that gap. And then we also have larger companies that do have a full-time DOT person. But, they need help, and we work a lot with training and teaching them, and so, it just, whatever your company's needs are, we really tailor it to your needs.
So, and I get it. I will recommend, if you're out there and you're a carrier, you need to have a mock audit. You need to have somebody come in outside your organization. You need to have them come in, and you need to have them look at the things that you've been looking at all the time, and maybe see some of the things that you're overlooking, and you're not seeing. And let's talk to that. Let's just say the top 3 things that you generally find, no matter where you step in. What are the top 3 that you believe to be the areas of most concern, or where people need most help at?
So the top, I'm going to say the top 2 for sure. Driver qualification files, that's always a challenge. When I ask clients to see their DQ files, oftentimes, they easily hand over the DQ files. But once you get into it, there's oftentimes a lot of things that are missing. The SPHRRs, a lot of people don't understand how to, get that past history from the clients and what happens if they can't get it. So there's many things within the DQ files, clearinghouse, but my biggest thing is vehicle maintenance files. When I ask for a DQ file, I usually get something back almost every time, at least something. But so many times when I ask for their vehicle maintenance files, I get asked, well, what's supposed to be in that? Um, so that is an
Well,
area
Roxanne, what is
I
supposed to be in there?
I mean, well, there's lots of stuff that need to be in there, but one of the little small things that a lot of people don't know is, you got to know your tire size, and that has to be written on the front. And it has to be right there and available. And people are like, "What tire size? Why do we need to know that?" Um, they're not keeping copies of their pre-trip, post-trip slips, and that when a driver finds something wrong and how it was fixed or repaired, it's not being signed off on and in the files. That is the biggest one. Um, Usually they have those, but they don't have it in their files, and they don't know that it's supposed to be part of your vehicle maintenance. So it's just, a lot of those little things, they go and get their inspections done, and they're like, oh, well, we do our annual inspections, but a lot of times they're not keeping just proper maintenance records. They just got a box full of receipts or, shoved in a corner somewhere kind of type thing. So it's just really, mostly it's about they usually have all the pieces. It's just more so about teaching them how to put it together and keep a file that they could easily hand over if needed in the event of an audit, or, they don't like to even put it out there, but God forbid, they have to go to court. It's ready and easy to hand over.
Yeah, and we definitely see the need for it, and it's not easy knowing all the rules, is it, Roxanne? I mean, you could be doing this. You could be and if you're at a small company, you might be the owner, dispatcher, and safety guy. And,
Yes.
it's not easy knowing all the rules to the FMCSR. I mean, you just don't. That's a big book. I mean,
It is. I've been doing this for years, and I hit the books regularly because I can't remember everything. I don't know everything, but I know how to find it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. I
that
mean,
and
that
that's
book
really
and
the
that
trick.
and honestly, let's be honest, Roxanne, that book changes every quarter. I mean,
Yes, sir. I always tell people, as soon as you think you know something, you don't anymore because it changes. So
it,
never stop learning. You have to keep learning.
and speaking of that, how did you? Let's talk about you for just a second.
Okay.
You have in the industry. How long do you have in truck? I mean, in trucking or logistics. How long have you been in the industry?
So I've been in the industry for a little over 12 years. I actually started out on the shipper side. I worked in chemical manufacturing plant, and so I was the shipper. So um,
You worked in the traffic
when we
office.
yes. So then we decided, well, I say we, but my boss decided that we were having trouble finding tanker trucks as quickly as we needed. We were in Maryland, and we had some pretty huge clients here, actually, in Houston, Texas, where I'm at now. So he decided we were going to buy some trucks, and we're going to start shipping our own product. And, I mean, it sounded easy, right? We make the products, we already create all the paperwork, we do the packaging, the labeling, the placarding. So we're like, hey, we got this, no big deal. Yeah, joke was on us. And that's really when I learned the carrier side, because that was my task, was to really start up the operation. And I learned very quickly that I knew nothing about being a carrier.
How did you get to Ironwood?
So I actually was referred, I was told about the position through a friend. I had seen them and kind of knew of them from different industry events, but a friend in the industry told me, they were hiring. And at the time I was working for another company, Shell Tap Up, that was a startup, but we were out of the startup phase, and we had become company. So my role was kind of changing a little bit there, as we had established. And so when this opportunity came up, I knew they were a great company, and I just thought, wow, how great would it be to be able to help lots of people instead of just one person. And so that's how I got into Ironwood.
So we have a big fan. We're a big fan here of Kenny Ray. You probably know Kenny Ray at some point.
Love it.
Best storyteller ever,
Yes. Oh, yes.
isn't he? The best storyteller ever. And I'll tell you, we're a big fan of his. I know you know him. You can't, if you know Kenny Ray, you can't help love Kenny Ray. I mean that's you can't help. Am I right?
You are so right. He is the sweetest, most caring person I've ever met in my life. I just love him.
He's great. I got a man crush on him too. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I can't help it either. You talk to Kenny and you're just oh no, he's the best, man. I've enjoyed being friends with Kenny Ray for a while now, and I'll tell you what, I get quiet when he enters the room, and Roxanne, if you know anything about me, that's pretty hard for Drive Safe Dave to do. That is hard for me, but I don't hesitate when that happens. And here we are. There are a couple of things here. I wanted to talk a little bit about what you do, but also I want to highlight your role as a woman in the industry, because I think that's what this segment's about. We want to know what you do and how important it is. But did you have anybody that helped you in the industry that you would like to give a shout out to, and how did they help you being a woman in this industry?
Yes, so absolutely I did. I mean, there's honestly been a lot of people, but from the female side of it, I had a mentor, Gina Hessler. She's absolutely amazing, and she really took me in under her wing. Being to hit on the topic of being a woman in the industry, one of the things that I've always kind of been taught was that my empathy, and I'm very empathetic, and that was kind of seen as a weakness, and so I tried to hide that, and I got to a point that that I kind of became almost too hard and too cold, but because I just wanted people to respect me and my knowledge. And so Gina was really the one that came in and really just kind of guided me like, no, this is a strength. And, this is something that we as women bring to the table that is different to the industry, and it really helps. And she really just, she was like, embrace that about you and use it. And she taught me that, and it really, kind of really launched my career. I didn't realize I was kind of holding myself back in a sense because I wasn't being my normal, outgoing, friendly, caring, sensitive person because I was, fearful of that holding me back and being seen as a weakness. So she has been absolutely amazing, and it is because of her that I started mentoring. So I mentor a couple young ladies for the Women Trucking Association, and just want to give back to that. Yes, thank you. Just really trying to give back to that it's so important for us as women to support each other in this industry.
And I think you're right on. I think you hit it right on the nail. First of all, I want to make sure it's on record here at BCB that kindness is a strength, not a weakness.
Absolutely.
And it should be important that each of us share it, give it, and find it in our lives. I mean, and if that is a strength of yours and a talent of yours, you share it, you do it, you go with it, because it is something that will shine bright wherever you go. I appreciate that, and I want to thank your mentor for bringing that to the table and helping you in that regard, because that is fundamentally necessary in this industry if we want to change it. I will tell you that I like the idea that you're mentoring other young ladies out there. I find it fantastic to know that they can find shelter in your experience, and they can find wisdom in where you've gone and what you've done beyond that. I think it's important that they continue to do that, and the association that you're a part of. Tell us how you joined it and when you joined it, the Women in Trucking.
So I actually, it was back in 2018. I was at a women's and chemical conference, and I had met a young lady there that told me about the women in trucking. So I've been following them. I've went to some of their conventions and things. But it's been recent, really in this past year that I've really like, so I was a member through, my previous company. And so when I left them, I did my own personal membership, which is one of the things I want to point out about them that I love. You can do an individual, um, membership. And so I did that. And that was when I really, got more heavily involved to it. And Gina, the lady I was talking about that was my mentor, I saw her on there, and I reached out and I was like, hey, can you keep being my mentor? And she was like, yes, but you really also need to think about being one yourself. And so I didn't, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. And it kind of, I signed up for the thing, and it kind of went from there. And then a young
Bit off a
lady
little bit
reached.
more than you thought right at first or something. Kind of got, yeah, like,
Yeah.
okay, sure, I'll do that.
Right, like, okay. And then the next thing I know, I'm like getting all these messages from these young ladies and stuff, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to help them all. But of course I had to limit myself, and but yeah, it was really great. So I would say in the last year I've really became very, very active in the organization, but it's a
So
great association.
I agree with you 100%. What have you learned from the people you've mentored? Not from the one that obviously you're supposed to learn from the mentor, but when you become the mentor, that has its own learning curve, correct?
It does, and I'm still learning. Again, I'm new to it, but you know, um, really, I think for the most part, it's a lot of. I really encourage them to become active in not just the Women's Trucking Association, but their local trucking associations.
Fantastic.
That's how I met Kenny Ray. I became a member of the Texas Trucking Association, and I went and took a class with them, and it was so amazing because I had taken lots of classes and certifications and stuff, but the difference is that when you walk out of that classroom with that certificate, it doesn't end there. You make a friend for life, and that's how you build your network and really get to know people. And the thing I love most about our industry is just how much everybody is willing to help each other. So if you can make those connections, everyone is so supportive, always willing to teach and learn, and your local associations is really like the best way to make those connections and learn and grow.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everything you're saying, especially when it comes to these associations, these trucking associations. They actually are they're a great way for we to learn about one another and and basically make great connections to find better ways to do things, better avenues for. Also, we gain strength in these
Yeah.
associations. We as an industry have been so weakened by the onslaught of legal attack that we have left ourselves vulnerable across the board. And let me tell you, whenever they do a trucking commercial or one of those attacks on us, they just show the image of the truck, never of the driver, never of the individual behind the wheel and the human aspect to trucking. I think people forget that this is a human industry and a necessary industry, but it's run and driven by humans, and that we're out there doing everything we can for the people that we serve in this industry. And Roxanne, I appreciate all that you do for that. Let me tell you, don't ever let anybody tell you that your kindness is a weakness. I stand behind your kindness. I stand behind your empathy and your compassion. I think it'll make you stronger in what you do because it gives you a better feeling of how to help somebody. And
It really does.
definitely, right? Because you listen more. and you
Yes.
draw from him, and people trust you more. And I find that fascinating. All right, I know we're routing out of time, Roxanne. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for coming on and talking to us a little bit about yourself and what you do, and also about women in trucking. I don't forget to always mention that. I think it is. I even hear you laugh about it when you talk about it. I'm excited that you're excited about it because it makes a difference.
I love it.
Do what?
I am. I love it. It's my passion. I love to see the growth in the industry. I love seeing how many men support. I want to point that out real quick too. The women in trucking. It's not just you have to be a woman. There's so many men and companies in there that support women in our industry, and that is amazing as well. So
Yeah, I mean, I can
love
tell you, if you love this industry, you have to be inclusive. If you want it to grow and be the best in the world, you have to include everyone with talent. And I'm telling you, if you leave that off the table, you better be bringing that talented women, smart, talented women in here if you want to be successful. And I agree with it 100%. All right, Roxanne, before you get out of here, I ask every one of our guests to state their name, who they're with, and that you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Can you do that for me, Roxanne?
Yes, sir. You're speaking with Roxanne Brown, Ironwood Business Consulting, and you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
Thank you very much, Roxanne. Great interview. I do appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, there you go. You've got women making a difference in the industry. Right, Blake?
Yep, absolutely.
I tell you what I like doing. I like doing these Wednesday segments. The ladies who launch.
I really do too.
I do too.
Bryce has done a great job.
Yeah, Bryce has done a great job in bringing them in here and you know, showing us a fantastic job. I guess, used to in the industry, I would go into a trucking company and it was just a bunch of guys in the building. And it was a bunch of guys at the truck stop. Times are changing. It is evolving into something better. It is evolving now you can't walk into a trucking company and women aren't either in a leadership role or in management roles or taking the the bull by the horns and really showing them what's going on. It's pretty fascinating. It's fun stuff. It's exciting stuff. And we will continue to do Ladies to Launch. Hey, when we come right back, we're going to bring in Double Check Dale. We're going to talk a little bit about the safety topic of the day and of the week, and we're going to show a couple of videos. So we'll be right back after this. All right, and we are back here at BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. And of course, Double Check Dale is nailing it down and bringing us the safety topic, which is
adverse driving in adverse weather conditions.
Adverse driving conditions out there on the road. And before we talked about snow, we talked about ice. What's the other form of water we're going to talk about?
Rain will be the one today.
Well, tell us a little bit about rain.
Rain, it's one of those things. We just have to slow down. It's recommended that when you're driving in rain, you should cut your speed by about 30%. Okay, so if you're doing 60, that should be down to 40. Hydroplaning, Dave, can happen at any speed, but typically for a big truck starts around that 40-mile-an-hour thing. It's part of the reason on a big truck, what's the groove depth you have to have on your steer tires? 4/10. There's a reason for that because they want that tire to be
430 seconds.
430 seconds, yes. I'm sorry. I just was seeing you paying attention. Nice. Good catch right there.
You bet I'm paying attention. Yeah, I know that rule. I don't want to get busted. That, and by the way, that's a pull point. Go ahead.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's about hydroplanes. So they want to make sure those steer tires have good contact with the road, even in rain. There's a lot of deaths caused by accidents from driving too fast in the rain. Total deaths per year in Georgia from rain accidents are 142. North Carolina, 134. Alabama, 114. That's a lot of deaths that just from accidents from drivers in the rain. If they'd have just slowed down, probably wouldn't have caused that accident, probably wouldn't have caused the death. Slow down in the rain.
Yeah, and I'm going to tell you, unlike ice and snow that they have out there, which creates this heightened sense of awareness because you're not
typically,
you're like, oh, I gotta be a little bit more careful because there's white stuff all over the ground.
Yeah.
We don't typically, as drivers, as people out there on the road, four-wheelers, everybody out there, they encounter rain with a little bit more frequency, which we haven't had much here lately in this area. I think we've gone almost 30 days now, and I'm about tired of it.
Me too.
But in reality, we typically don't react accordingly when the rain hits the ground.
Yeah, we let our guard down. We don't think about it as much because we encounter it, we deal with it more often. And so, part of what we're trying to do there is educate you and get people thinking about it more often every time it rains. The roads get the slickest when the rain first starts because that's when the dust and the oil starts mixing with it and gets a little greasy, a little slimy.
Yeah, it's almost like ice.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that dangerous. And there's so many different sets of challenges that come with rain. That misty rain, that smell, that real slight misty rain that you're talking about that can create the icy patch. There's the heavy deluge where it blinds you. Have you ever been driving and then you can't see over the hood of your car because it's coming down so thick and it blinds you in that format? Or it creates this long, steady rain that's been going on for a while, and the ponding and the roadways become inundated with this water. And they create their own sets of hazards, and those can include the hydroplaning that you're speaking of, and it can happen to any vehicle out there. And I'm going to tell you, a lot of it happens out there on the open road, on the open highway, when you get lulled into this false insecurity because there's no low point, no high point. It's just an open road, and people tend to drive a little bit too fast in those conditions, even though it's raining. They don't realize how dangerous it truly is.
Yep, and a lot of states have the law that if you have to have your wipers on, your light should be on. One of the things about driving is to be
federal
seen.
law.
Yeah, to be seen.
If you're driving a truck.
Turn those lights on if your wipers are required. Just makes it easier for everybody to see, especially that heavy deluge. The tires from your trailer kicking up that spray make it very hard to see. Never stop, and I've been driving. I've drove already where cars get in this really heavy rain, and instead of pulling off, they stopped literally right in the roadway. Never stop right in the roadway if you have a shoulder or a availability to get off, because it just makes it so hard to be seen. And you come up on them, hydroplaning takes longer to break, all that bad stuff that happens.
Yeah, you want to make sure that you're very careful. And we're going to, and rain is much needed, but it creates all of these basic challenges that you have to face out there. And I think we get a little complacent when we talk about rain out there. There's so many adverse. I challenged Buckle Up Bob earlier today. I said, you know what, we're going to go over. I don't care how many you pick. I bet I can pick 3 more adverse weather conditions over anything that you got listed up. I'll bet that's okay. You don't have to sit there and struggle with it.
I've got at least one already.
I bet I can come up with 90. I bet I can come up with 3 more. I can come up with 3 more.
See, I got 2 more that aren't on our list.
That aren't on the list. I bet I can come up with more on the list. But those are real things that we have to do, and we're bringing to your attention the idea and the premise and the concept behind the danger. Also, it is necessary that you understand that rain will make it slippery.
Yeah.
Understand that if you don't get that rain will make the road slippier than it was without it.
Yeah. Reduces friction.
Guess what happens? Makes it difficult.
Longer stopping distance.
Longer stopping. Not as easy to turn.
Yeah.
Not as easy to brake. Not as easy to
accelerate.
Yeah, it just got to be careful. It makes the road slippier. Okay, let's play a couple videos before we get out.
Do it.
What? We're in the pack?
Yeah, we're in the pack. We're not going to go anywhere except We're not going to go anywhere. So just slow down, get out of that pack, get away from it, allow some space between you, because there's a lot of people here that are following too close. And I understand, they're probably getting up there thinking, I'm not going to let that car cut in front of me.
You see that one on the right? Did you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that in there. And, you know, we talk about providing speed and space and creating these huge gaps.
Yeah.
And you're going to find these people trying to creep up here to cut over because they don't respect the speed and the gaps. Look, I'm going to tell you right now, you're not ever going to stop them from doing what they're doing. They'll cut over whenever they can and however they can. You have to drive defensively and understand that your role sometimes is to back off.
Yeah.
I mean, even if this guy were to cut over in front of you and you create a little bit more space, how much time, Dale, will you really lose in the long run?
None. Zero.
How much of your pride will be damaged if he gets in front of you?
You know, a little bit of pride will be damaged, but you know what? You can get that back a whole lot easier than an injury or replacements. Or
Absolutely, because you'll never stop them from being crazy. All right, next video.
You know, same situation. Lots and lots of traffic in this one. We got big trucks. We got four-wheelers. We're too close.
We're doing almost 70 miles an hour in a split 4-lane.
Yeah.
Y'all get we're in a split 4-lane, right?
I get that.
Look how much traffic, and when you come in a split 4-lane, you're usually where, Dale? I mean,
metropolitan area heavy traffic is to be expected.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't out there on the open road. You don't
This
don't come out.
This isn't West Texas. This isn't New Mexico someplace.
This is not out. This is a metropolitan area. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't know where we are. I don't know where it was done, but this is definitely a metropolitan area. You're going to, and because of metropolitan areas, you're going to be in traffic. Remember where you are. Understand how important it is that you make a difference in what goes on around you. Create the space. Even if you were going 1 mile an hour or 2 miles an hour less than everyone around you, you're going to be okay because you're going to get through the metropolitan area quickly and without stress.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, get over a little. You're not doing yourself anybody's favor by being in the pack, bunching up. Like these two guys in the hammer lane are too close together.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're not getting there any quicker. You're probably adding a little bit of stress to you. Stress adds to fatigue. Fatigue makes bad choices, and so a lot of things happen that we don't even
snowball
realize.
action there you got going on.
Yeah, there we go.
Snowball action he's got listed over there. All right, any other videos? Oh, here's another pack out there on the open road.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. You think, well, this car is going to quick get over, and I'll have clear sailing, and so I'm just trying to keep that momentum going.
You don't know that.
You don't know that. I mean, you think that, but you don't know that. You have to trust the technology in these situations, create that space, get it out there. I mean, you know, we're looking for 1.2 seconds, but that's not even the best or the safest following distance. We need to increase it out even further than that.
Absolutely. We've got to find ways to be better. And here's something that you're going to encounter often. Look, you're running behind this person. Yeah. There's nobody around. Why are you running this close to this person? Why, you know?
Because you've done it for so long. I've drove for 30 years. This is a safe following distance. In your mind, in your eyes, and everything, you're thinking, this is a safe following distance. This is what I always follow at.
Right.
But it's not. We have the technology that shows us, or we can count.
We can. You can use the shadows on the road, and I guarantee you won't get past 1 second.
No, you're right about that. So that is it for the day, or?
That is it.
No, because our rolling stop sign streak has.
Oh, we got a rolling stop sign.
Our no stop. No rolling
yeah.
stop.
Well,
Stop.
Okay.
So we rolled a stop sign, which means we didn't stop for it.
Thank you.
You know,
I couldn't get it
even that sign's leaning.
Even the leaning stop sign is a stop sign.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't mean it's an okay to roll stop sign. That is not the cue.
Yeah. I'll lean a little bit as I go around that bad boy. And it's not, I almost stopped, officer. Well, the sign was leaning, so I didn't know if it was really my lane or not. It's not.
It's a stop. All right. Hey, everybody, we hope that you have a great, wonderful day here on BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. We want you to be safe. We want you to be courteous, and we want you to know how important you are out there on the road and how important everybody else is that you encounter. It's necessary that you know that. It's necessary that you realize that you make a difference every single day on what you do and the decisions that you make. We are BCB Live,
the safest station in the nation.
We'll see you all in a little bit. Bye.
Peace out.
I was waiting for the peace out.